We can start, Mr. Chairman. You got all your
set?
board members, yeah.
Okay, please join us in pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When you start recording, Jim.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll
Recording
make
in
a motion that we
progress.
approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Second? Any corrections, changes?
I'm good.
There's one, I would ask you to add the coin drop.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, anything else? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
You're currently muted on Zoom.
They just didn't hear you say anything.
Huh?
They didn't hear you say anything, so.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, 8/9 and 9/13. I don't believe we have 9/13, but we have August 9th. Is there a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of August 9th, 2021.
I'll second it.
And a second? Discussion, corrections? Bob?
No, I don't think so.
No? Dick?
I'm
No?
good.
Mike?
I'm good.
You're good? I'm good. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Okay. Motion passes. Citizens' comments and concerns, items not on the agenda? Are there any citizens?
No? Oh, I do.
Hey,
Zach Goldsworth.
now, please identify yourself.
Yeah, Zach Goldsworth, 612 Brea West.
Thank you, Zach.
You probably already know, and it was brought to my attention, there are 3 DRB members serving on the DRB who live up on Sand Hill Road and will be voting on the Sand Hill Road project for the assisted living facility. And I believe that's next week when we'll be holding the vote. And I don't know if there is anything that the select board can do to prevent those 3 members who have a clear conflict of interest voting, but if there is anything that the select board can do, I urge you to do so before it becomes a problem. I don't know if there is any liability to the town. For instance, if they vote it down, I don't know if developers would have a leg to stand on in a lawsuit. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but you know what that project can bring to the town, and I don't think that it's fair that 3 people with a conflict of interest can vote that down and make the town suffer for all of the work that it has put in the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, thank you, Zach.
Yep.
Any questions from the board for Zach?
I'm
No?
good.
Okay,
Thank you, Zach.
You know how to get a hold of me.
thank you very much, Zach. You can stay, you know.
No, I've got to be back in Benson. I got work to do.
Okay. Any other citizens who wish to address the board, items not on the agenda? Seeing none. We'll move on to wind energy in Castleton. Sam Carlson, Green Light Solar.
Green Lantern.
Sam?
Thank you. Can I sit up there to be closer, or do you want me to stay back here?
I don't care. You can sit up there as far as I'm concerned.
To facilitate the discussion. My name is Sam Carlson. I've come before the select board several times in the context of solar net metering, representing Green Lantern Solar. I'm not here representing Green Lantern Solar. I stepped away from Green Lantern Solar about a year ago and am now working for another group, and that's what I'm here to talk to you all about. I did work with the select board. I think we had 3 solar net metering agreements, and I think all the town's electricity accounts are under solar net metering. I hope that's all working well for you. But again, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to discuss a much more controversial renewable energy project. First, I just want to give you,
Is this you, Sam?
that is me, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That is me. So did everyone get in their packet this one pager? I have extras of those. So just a little bit of information about this proposed project. Grandpa's Knob Community Wind is proposed as a single turbine. This is not the 2012 7 miles of ridge line, 20 wind turbines, new roads, new infrastructure, new power lines, blasting. This is not that. This is a single wind turbine that honors Castleton and Grandpa's Knob as the birthplace of the American wind energy industry. This is where it all started, in 1941. The very first wind energy turbine ever connected into an electricity grid in the world. The gentleman who is the promoter of this, you may or may not know his name, but Dave Blittersdorf, who grew up in Pittsford, who has made his career in wind, and he met as a young boy Palmer Putnam in 1970, 71 or something like that. And growing up in Pittsford, he could see Grandpa's Knob, and it was sort of the origin of his interest in wind energy and that whole story. He wants to honor that legacy by putting up a wind turbine there. Now, just to give a little more information, this project, if it goes forward, is still a long ways off. We are not close to entering a permitting phase. We are engaging with Castleton. I just came from the Hubbardton Select Board. I met with the town managers of West Rutland, Proctor, and Pittsford today, and I'll be meeting with their select boards in October. This project would be part of Vermont's Standard Offer program, which is its program to support the development of renewable energy in the state of Vermont. The electricity generated would be sold to Green Mountain Power, and the electricity would count towards Green Mountain Power's renewable energy portfolio standards that they have to have. This is not electricity that's getting sold out of state. This is electricity that is sold to Green Mountain Power. Now, physically, you all know when electricity goes into the grid, we're in a New England grid. The electrons go where the electrons go, but the power would be purchased by Green Mountain Power, and it would go to achieving the state's renewable energy objectives. So this is a state award that we expect to be made next month. It has not been made yet. There's no official award. The award is separate from the permitting process. The award is just saying, if you get your project built, this is the rate at which you can sell the electricity to Green Mountain Power for the next 20 years. Now go try to get this thing permitted. We're probably 9 to 12 months away from being ready to go into permitting. And we know that there's a history in Castleton, in Hubbardton, in Pittsford, and Ira, and West Rutland, related to that project back in 2012. We know that there's likely to be opposition to the project. There's a cost. There's a perceived cost to seeing a wind turbine on top of Grandpa's Knob. My objective is to engage in dialogue and negotiation with the 5 surrounding towns, but mainly with the town of Castleton, because this Grandpa's Knob is located in the town of Castleton. It would go up in the town of Castleton. You guys are at You guys are at the center of that. My job is to try to reach a point where your perception of the benefits of the project exceed the costs. And if you don't, then you're gonna say you don't want it. So what I'm asking is that you reserve judgment right now as we develop more and more information about the project and we share that information with you. And I hope, well, Mike knows me well enough that I operate totally transparently. Any question you have, any information you want is what I will try to get you. I'm trying to do this in real time. On Friday, we produced our first visual simulation of what this would look like. And it's preliminary, and it's only from one viewpoint, but it's a starting point. As we get more visualizations done, we're working with some excellent group, TJ Boyle. As those become available, we're going to be sharing those with the towns. They'll be on a website. People will be able to see exactly what this thing would look like. What I have right now is a simulation of the view from the Hubbardton battlefield. Okay? So the first is basically just situating you. This is right at Hubbardton battlefield. This is the little museum or whatever. And it's looking up to Grandpa's Knob, and it's this triangle, rectangle, triangle. And pass that around. This is basically what it would look like. So you all know there's a communications tower up there now, 310-foot communications tower that services TV, cell phones, radio, what have you. There's an existing road, truck-ready road that goes up there now. There are power lines that go up there now. So the great advantage of Grandpa's Knob is that there is existing infrastructure. So in terms of disturbance to ridgeline, this is already a disturbed and developed ridgeline. We're not talking about going anywhere else except Grandpa's Knob. The tower of this is a 1.5 megawatt turbine. The tower, not the blades, but the tower is slightly less than 300 feet high. And that's in your little fact sheet. So, and it would be installed below the knob. So the tower itself will be below the height of the communications tower. There's the sweep of the blades. Those blades sweep 143 feet above that tower.
So that's the radius.
So that's the radius. Right. It's a 285-foot diameter sweep, right? So it's not clear to us, given, and we haven't been able to do all the visualization work yet, if the towns of Pittsford and Proctor and West Rutland, given that it's over the knob and down a little bit, their views of it, they may just be able to see the tips of the blades. They may not be able to see any part of the tower. But there's no question. I was driving along West Castleton Road today and along Lake Bomoseen, and that's a pretty clear view up to Grandpa's Knob and the communications tower. I was at Keyhole, I might be mispronouncing that, but the access point right there, and driving along that road, you can see that communications tower. So folks would be able to see this from the lake, and they'd be able to see that along West Castleton Road. So there's a cost to that. Again, the folks behind this project understand that, and they understand that you aren't going to support this unless you perceive that the benefits of the project would exceed those costs of having this visual impact. So what are those benefits likely to be? Could be. So that's a discussion, that's a negotiation, but the starting point is that we would like to put 1/2 of the net annual operating profit of the turbine into a foundation, into a trust, into an escrow account into some pot that would get divided up amongst the towns who are most impacted by this project. How that division would happen would obviously be a negotiation among the towns, would be a discussion among the towns. How much is one town impacted, what's the population of that town, et cetera, et cetera. Certainly Castleton, because the project is located in Castleton, there are the taxes. Those taxes go to Castleton, that's probably $12,000, $13,000 a year. What we're talking about is the net annual operating profit of the turbine, and taking half of that and saying, we're gonna distribute that to the communities that are impacted by this project. So what is that? I can't tell you right now exactly what that net annual operating profit is gonna be, because I don't know what all of our costs are yet. We're projecting out, if we go into permitting, then there's gonna be a hearing, then we're in the construction. We're probably 18 months to 24 months away from construction. Steel prices going all over the place. Tariff issues, cement prices, all that stuff. Labor costs. I can't tell you exactly what our costs are gonna be. I know what the revenue's gonna be, because we have a pretty good idea of how much that turbine will generate in terms of electricity, and under the standard offer program, it's 11.6 cents a kilowatt hour. So I multiplied 4 million kilowatt hours a year by 11.6 cents a kilowatt hour, and my gross revenue is somewhere around, I don't know, $440,000 a year. That's my gross, right? Then I've got to pay the bank. I don't have to pay the bank, it's not my money. Right? The LLC has to pay back the bank, got to pay annual maintenance, got to pay taxes, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's a very conservative estimate. I think it's a conservative estimate that there'll be $100,000 a year in years 1 through 10 as net profit. After year 10, assuming we have a 10-year loan and the loan is paid off, that doubles. And after year 20, when the standard offer rate expires and we're going into a directly negotiated rate with Green Mountain Power, that rate is likely to go up after 20 years. And so we would guess that, again, we're making a projection of an electricity rate 20 years from now, so there's no certainty as to what that is, but certainly our expectation is that the net profit will probably go up to $300,000 a year. So what I'm talking about, and this is a base case scenario, if we're $100,000 in year 1, then $50,000 is getting distributed among the towns. And that goes for the 10 years. And then after the loan is paid, we're at a $200,000 a year net operating profit, and we're distributing $100,000 amongst the towns. In years 21 to 30, if we're at a $300,000 net operating profit, then that means $150,000 is getting distributed every year amongst the towns. Over the course of, and this is over the course of 30 years, that's $3 million.
That would be in that coffer.
That would be in that coffer.
Okay.
That's not $3 million in today's money,
No,
right?
no.
You get, I'm an economist by training, you gotta discount that back to put it in today's dollars. But I'm saying over the course of the 30 years, just based on the net operating profit of this turbine. And our intent would be to be fully transparent about what that net operating profit is. And would need to talk about that. That means having an accounting firm that you trust, that we trust, that looks at the books and says, at the end of fiscal year 2024, the net operating profit was X. And that's determined by an accounting firm that you trust, that we trust. And then we take half of that, and that goes into a fund. So that's from a developer perspective, that's a fairly strong statement that they're not doing this to make money. They're doing this because they wanna honor Palmer Putnam, put up Grandpa's Nog turbine in 1941, and this is something that's meaningful to him. He doesn't wanna lose money, and he won't do the project if he's gonna lose money, right? But he is not, if he wanted to make money, he'd take that turbine and go put it in Iowa or Texas or anywhere else where the guy operates, right? He's doing this because of the history that's here. We would want to emphasize that history. I believe, and this is my personal, that despite the visual cost some people may perceive about having to look at this thing, that this is actually something that Castleton should celebrate, that it is the birthplace of the American wind energy industry. There ought to be a museum, there ought to be a center. We are digitizing all of the historical archives from the early 40s, all of the newspaper articles, all of the photographs, and getting those into museum quality material that could be part of a center. I intend to reach out to Senator Leahy and Senator Sanders and Representative Welch and say there ought to be federal dollars in the historic preservation, that there's no wind energy museum right now. Lubbock, Texas has got something they're trying to do, but this is where it all started. Over the next 70 years, wind energy is likely to become a bigger and bigger part of our reality as wind and solar are going to continue to grow and get developed. And that makes this place even more important over time, because this is where it all started. So my goal tonight is not to ask for any endorsement. My goal tonight is to just say, let's open a dialogue over the next 9 to 10 to 12 months before we go into permitting. And before we go into permitting, I'll be feeding you guys more simulations, more cost and projected annual profit information, and you guys are gonna make your own judgment. Well, the potential benefits to this town greater than the cost. And I get there are costs to people having to see a turbine, and I get it especially for folks at the Hubbardton battlefield who were there looking up at it, or people on the lake. Right now, they see a communications tower, and in addition to a communications tower, there would be one single turbine turning around. Some people like them, some people don't like them. We will be also informing your state representatives and senators this week. I know Bob Helm has a certain history in this town. He'll be getting an email along with the other representatives here, and they'll be getting the same fact sheet. And I'll basically be saying, we're reaching out to these towns to talk about this project. So they're informed, and I'll be inviting them to ask any questions that they have and raise the concerns that they have. But our approach in this project is just to be as transparent and upfront with you all as we can be.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you for the introduction. Any questions quickly for Sam?
I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
Yep.
The location, you have the physical location where this thing is gonna go? You have it right down to where the pad is gonna be poured?
Right
Or
now,
is it
that's what we're guessing.
that spot right
That-
there?
That spot right there.
Do you guys know who owns that land?
Yeah.
Is it state owned, or?
No,
It's a personal?
yep,
Personal.
I have the,
I don't need the name, I just,
No, it's private, it's a private landowner, it's about a 500 acre parcel, might even be a 700 acre
700
parcel,
something.
726 acre parcel. It's the Free Seat Trust.
Yep.
And there's
Okay.
a couple cisterns up in Burlington who are part of it, but we have site control now, we have a land lease
okay,
with them.
sure.
So it's on private land.
Okay. Is it anywhere near the original? Do you know?
I don't know. I will know after Sunday, because on Sunday I'm going up there.
Okay,
And I think that, and this is my guess is that the original one was very close to the communications tower,
okay,
because it's probably right on the knob.
okay,
And what is being proposed here is to put the turbine, I think it's about 1,000 feet away from the communications tower. And just, lots of folks wonder, well, what happens with a turbine and communications? And these are fiberglass blades, and fiberglass doesn't interrupt radio frequency at all, so it just goes through. You see radio towers often have a fiberglass shell over the critical pieces, because fiberglass doesn't interrupt the communications at all.
Okay, any other questions for him?
I got one more. What is the longevity of this windmill? I mean,
Yep, so it's a minimum expectation of 20 years.
20 years.
The standard offer award from the state is for 20 years,
okay,
right? These typically have a life of 30 years.
okay,
I would expect after 20 years that we would replace the blades with newer, better, faster, higher technology blades that'll probably get developed over the next 20 years. And so our hope is that it's a 30-year lifetime,
okay.
but minimum 20.
Dick?
Just one question, Bob got one for me. No, that's good. Just how much disturbance will there be up there during construction?
Yep. So the advantage is we're working with a road that already exists.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Clearing has already been done, right? I mean, it's already a knob that, there is a minimal amount of tree clearing that would need to be done. I don't know, and I need to find out, I don't know if there's going to be blasting. I don't know. I don't know in the engineering, but I can find that out and let you know in terms of disturbance. The power lines are already in. We would have to, it's a two-phase power line right now that goes up there. The poles and the cross trees are all in good shape. We have to string, it's a three-phase. For us to connect, we need a three-phase. So we have to string a third line, but using all existing poles and cross trees.
No, so it can only be single phase. There's no such thing as two-phase power.
That was a surprise to me when someone told me it's
Well,
two-phase.
let me rephrase that. Two-phase is not something I'm familiar with.
Me neither. I've only heard of single and three-phase. I was told it's two, and maybe because it's the communication stuff, I don't know.
Okay, anything else, Dick?
No.
No, Mike? No, I'm all set. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you, appreciate
I'm
it.
sure we're going to hear from you.
Yep, so I'm sure that, when this all becomes more public, there'll be more controversy, more questions.
Sure.
I'd like to leave some cards with Mike, so people who come in and want to know how to get in touch with me.
Yep.
Perfect.
Good.
Call me, send me emails, and my hope would be to come back. Probably, I won't bother you over the holidays, but probably in January with an update. This is where we're at. Here we are in terms of visualizations. Here were the conversations that we had with the other towns. Just update you on the status.
Okay, perfect.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you,
your time.
Sam.
Okay, let's move on. I believe the next one we've already covered, Mike.
Yes.
So we'll move on to the police report. Chief?
Hey, good evening, Board.
Good evening, Chief.
Hey, listen, I really want to thank you for the board for renewing my contract for 5 years, and appreciate it. I've always wanted to finish out my career in Castleton, so that is my goal, and hopefully things will go well for the next 5 years.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, so you all got a copy of the report, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So, any pressing questions on anything in there? I mean, August, university started, so our calls, at the university are gonna be up a little bit. We did write more tickets that month. I think everything's kind of close. We went down in arrest from 9 to 7. Nothing really stood out in August, outside of the university starting. You can see our backup provided, and who provided backup to us. Any questions on any of that stuff? Any of the calls or?
I'm good.
Any other questions on that portion? Okay. Nope, I guess not. Go ahead, Peter.
If you look in the other stuff, obviously in August we did, because we're still delivering meals, but it's really goes with Castleton Cares. We help them get the food from Pruniers on a Friday night, and then we deliver on those Saturday mornings. It's usually every 2 to 3 months, depending on what they get. So we continue to do that. And as you can see in the other information, you know, what we did in July for, you know, the students off campus. I think, because I've got scheduling, I'm still scheduled 2 guys, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I also extended the hours to 3 to 4, because a lot of times leaving at 2, just, you get too many calls after 2 o'clock. So that, I leave that discretion to my 2 officers that work those nights. If they think they've got everything under control, they can leave a little earlier. And obviously we're talking about, we had a DUI patrol, through the Labor Day weekend. You can see the breakdown that Justin put together on the equipment grant that we got, and then the stops that we did, the arrests and so on for that week, which is a specialized patrol just for that week. Any questions on anything?
Any questions on anything?
I'm good with it.
Good, Bob?
I'm good.
Dick?
Just a quick thing, Pete, a neighbor of mine has expressed concern about the speed on River Street. And he said you could park in his driveway, that's right across from my driveway, anytime you want to.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Dick.
No, he expressed his concern about the speed on River Street again. And he said you guys are welcome to park in his driveway anytime you want to run radar there.
Okay. I had a concern earlier in the summer, someone wanted a speed cart down there, so Creek Road, we had our 2 speed carts. I obviously took the one off Main Street, put it on Creek Road. We never did move the other one that we usually put by the sidewalk up by the PD. We should have put that down on River Street. My goal is probably in the next couple of years, I really want to work with one of those grants and buy one of those permanent ones that you can put on a pole, like I've seen other towns have. And if we can designate a couple areas, because it seems like this summer, I just received, I don't know, 2 or 3 residents from different streets wanting more enforcement. And we're doing what we can do, so I'm going to try to get one of those hopefully next couple of years. I know they're very expensive. Get a solar mounted one.
Mr. Chairman?
Mike?
I shared with folks, there was a town that's selling one, at a reduced, really, brand new, that they didn't use, it's solar. I sent it to Pete today as well, and I said to the board, I sent it to the board members, and said, are you interested, kind of thing, because it's like wicked cheap. So, but if you didn't have it by your email, let me know and I can go back and check, make sure I got you on it, but it's brand new, but it's solar powered.
Yeah, I saw that, Mike. I did see that today, and I didn't look at the details what the costs were. And that was up in Grand Isle? Where was that?
Yep, Grand Isle.
So, I mean, it looks good and everything. I have to look at it, but if that's something that we could get, I would definitely be interested in doing that if it's definitely cheaper than a new one.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief?
Well, I think with that being said, would you look into that and see if that's something we should do? And if it is, let's see if we can find a way to get it.
Absolutely, Mike. Yeah, I will. I'll follow up on it this week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, chief. Moving on to tire purchase bids, town manager.
We can, Mr. Chairman, we can bypass that one.
Okay, moving on to the next one, tire chain purchase bid. Mike, town manager.
In your box today, I got an updated quote from Boutwell Logging. It's about $300 more than the last time you saw it. The price, steel has been going up, so commodity prices are driving these retail prices, but they're all in stock. I talked to Todd today. They're in stock, so the total amount for all those chains, those 16 pairs of chains, is $4,653.64.
Your recommendation is?
To purchase them through Boutwell Logging. Now, we have ample stuff right now, so it's not gonna be, we're not gonna enter the winter season with nothing on their tires, but this is replacement stuff, so.
Okay, you heard his recommendation. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we purchase the tire chains from Beltwell Logging for $4,653.64.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Yeah, I want to make a comment.
Sure, Bob.
We need to do this in the springtime.
It's on my calendar for May, Bob. I talked to Todd the other day.
Oh, okay.
So we'll come back to you in May, once
Okay.
we know what we've got, and
Okay.
we'll get ahead of the curve on this one.
Okay.
But these are in stock,
Yep.
so we'll be able to get them right away,
I
okay?
think Todd's online, isn't he?
Yeah, Todd, you said that last time the 315s weren't, but you said they are now, correct?
Yeah, everything's in stock right now.
Okay, any other discussion?
Todd, did you want to comment on why we should do it in the springtime? I mean, is it because there's leftover chains out there and they want to get rid of their stock?
No, it's not necessarily leftovers. It's that they get their stock order for the year every October. So they offer promotional pricing anywhere from 10 to 20% off, depending on the year, if you place your order in May.
Just place the order. Okay.
You'd be guaranteed your quantities of each set you order in October, and get that savings. They can't give me a price in the spring what it's going to be per set, but whatever the pricing is in the fall, what their regular pricing is, you would get the 10 to 20% off in October when you paid for them. It more or less guarantees your quantity of sets. Like right now, we're just kind of at their mercy, whatever they have in stock that they can spare that hasn't been ordered
Okay.
from others.
Okay, any other questions? If not, all those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Did Mr. Holden made the motion? Who seconded it?
I did.
Todd did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Off-road diesel bids. Mike?
I tried to, I gave you a sheet the best I know, I learned more about diesel on and off-road than I probably ever want to. I even know about pouring and lumping and all that stuff, but anyway, based upon the last meeting, there was a question after the meeting about switching to purchasing the on-road and the Canadian fuel versus the off-road and kerosene. So this was going back to the well, talking to Champlain Valley Fuels. I got prices, and if we were to purchase the stuff tomorrow, if you approved it, it's $2.45 a gallon for both on-road and off-road. We just don't pay the 2 cents excise on the off-road fuel, so you actually save 2 more cents, so it'd be $2.43. The Canadian fuel is not available till 1 October, so we need fuel right now. So what I highlighted on that was if we can get 1,000 tomorrow, if I can order 1,000 tomorrow, and then that'll get us through to when the Canadian fuel is available, a little bit later into the season. They were recommending waiting till November 1st, November 15th. when it starts getting a little bit colder, and then get your Canadian diesel at that point. At that point, we'll be down to needing, we have an 8,000 gallon tank, so we'll be needing fuel at that point.
Mike,
I looked into this after the meeting, the last one that we did, because you guys kind of leaned on me, which I don't mind. I did call up and talk to Bill, 2 or 3 conversations. My professional opinion and my personal opinion is we should go with the Canadian fuel. It's gonna be a lot easier on the trucks and a lot easier on everything. I talked to Bill again today, and if for some reason we get a cold snap in the middle of the winter where we got 20 below for a week at a time, he's gonna get a hold of us prior to that and say, you know, we have what they call an A blend that he said we should dump in there just to keep it so that you guys aren't gonna have any issues with it. The other thing he did say to me that we're gonna wanna do is, being on the fire department, is these fire trucks, run them down by the end of October, run them down as low as we can run them to get that summer fuel the hell out of there, so that when we put the Canadian fuel in, you're getting them, so we're not gonna be having issues if it turns to 20 below, and we're not gonna have an issue with these. But he assured me that he's got a lot of companies now with this Canadian fuel, and they're having 0 problems with it, and it's way better, on the vehicles, because you're not putting the kerosene, which has no lubricant, which destroys the motor. So, my opinion of it, I think we should go with the Canadian fuel and go with Bill, and I think he's been awesome on the phone, and I don't think we'll have any issues with it.
any other questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we'll get 1,000 gallons now to get us through. The 1st of October is coming up, but we could wait at whatever Bill sees the fit to the weather as to when we're gonna go to the Canadian fuel, but I make a motion that we go with them and have them do it and stay in contact with them when we get the Canadian fuel.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, but we need to clarify a couple things.
Yeah,
Okay, motion second, clarification, Dick?
Well, let's do, Mike, let's do 2 motions. The first motion is for 1,000 gallons of fuel now.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we buy 1,000 gallons of fuel now to get us through.
Is there a second? So you withdrew the other
I
motion?
withdrew the other motion.
And the second?
Aye.
Okay, and the new motion is to buy 1,000 gallons now.
Tomorrow.
Is that
yeah.
correct?
Yes, buy 1,000 gallons of fuel tomorrow, have it delivered.
I seconded that.
Okay, discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
I'm just gonna recuse myself.
sure. Bob recused himself.
Yep.
Okay,
Before we move on,
sure.
I
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry,
totally
Bob.
agree that we
Okay.
need to buy 8,000 gallons of Canadian fuel. I'm just not sure. Do we need to price in that for the motion or anything?
It's gonna
Mike?
change. He said it was cost plus 10 cents. Nobody will enter into a contract with us.
Because sometimes to stand up to the audit, the motion has to be worded just right, so.
Well,
I'll
I don't even, if you,
I'll just make a motion that we authorize the town manager to buy 8,000 gallons of Canadian diesel when the time is right later in the fall. And the cost will be, or it'll be cost plus.
Plus 10 cents.
Plus 10 cents.
The rack price plus 10 cents. is
Right,
what they
price
do.
plus 10 cents.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
There's a second. Any other discussion on this motion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Again, I'm gonna recuse myself.
Okay, Bob? Okay, moving on
Thanks, Dick.
to
Hopefully it'll stand up.
presentation of properties subject to tax sale. Is the tax collector present?
present,
We have the list.
so the list is in your packet.
We have it.
These are the ones that meet the criteria the board set forth in previous, 2 years ago,
Okay,
and reiterated it, 1 or 2 meetings ago. So if the board now has the list, and you already authorized it to go forward, but we just gave you the list, we'll start working with the attorney to start the necessary process to start the wheels turning on the process, I guess.
okay, you all have the list. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we authorize the tax collector, Michael Jones, to move forward with the attorney to proceed with the property tax sale.
As presented here. As presented, right?
As presented,
As presented as of
9/27.
9/20, 7/21.
I'll second it.
And a second?
Yeah.
Any discussion? No, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any questions for Mike on the town manager's report?
Where do you wanna start?
There's an awful lot of stuff highlighted, that's all I'm gonna say.
The only thing I'm gonna bring up real quick, Mike, oh,
Go ahead.
is that we've, on the, I think it's the last one, you said at the last meeting, we had a mirror that you were gonna put up, and now you're putting on here that you ordered a new mirror.
We had one put up, it was too small.
Okay.
So it's still sitting up there now until we get the new one.
Hey, what are we talking about, guys? Where are you,
Oh,
Mike?
on,
I'm on the 14th, on the very back page,
Well,
Bobby.
let's go
14.
back to page 1. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just happened to, that jumped out at me.
Go ahead, Mike. We'll get there.
so on the first page, page 1, item 1, on, October 11th at 6:15 is, proposed meeting, for public comments for that transportation alternative grant. Scoping study for pedestrian accessibility, which is South Street from the university, and then east and west on Main Street from the depot down to west to Sand Hill Road. So that is for public comments. I just wanted to confirm that other board members, you have a quorum to meet on, at 6:15 on October 11th.
Everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
We'll do that.
I won't be here.
You won't be here?
No.
You traveling again, Bob?
Yeah.
He's
You're
on
traveling
Indigenous
again?
Peoples Columbus Day.
Yeah, well, I'll be gone.
Okay. Okay, but we
You'll have a
have,
quorum.
we have 3 of us that, yeah. And
And Joe said he could do it.
Joe should be here for that, so we're okay.
Very good.
Okay, next item, Mike.
Same page, 1D, no, I just highlighted some stuff. Oh, so on the grants and aid project, on, oh, yeah. Yeah, think of that road, Barker Hill Road. So I took the culvert out of that because it's not gonna come in time to complete the grant. So we're looking at other roads where we could potentially maximize the grant. And I've looked at the 8 segments that we have to still bring into compliance by next year, and none of them really are something we want to tackle right now with the paving and coming up and the shoulders that need to be put down on those roads after they're paved. So we're going to leave a little bit of money on the table, but it's in the long run, it's for the best, so we can get everything ready for winter that we can. Item 1E, Windy Hollow, they did do their 3rd drawdown, and the town in that payment was the town's funds that we requested for recover administrative time and attorney's fees. So that's the first we got money back on that. On to page 2. Very, very verbose here on the transfer station. The pressure washer, what I'm looking for the board on that one to do is authorize we have an old bin that's been sitting in the woods growing through, trees up through it, is to pull that out of there, bring it down for scrap at M&B, and use the money from that scrap to buy an electric pressure washer that we can use in the garage during the winter. I've been hopping up and down about trying to wash those trucks off during the winter and keep the salt off them, and to run a gas-powered engine inside the building is not a very smart idea. But Joe wanted it to clean the compost bins up at the transfer station, and I wanted it for the garage to help keep things clean. And if you guys authorize the money from the bin, because prices of steel are up right now, typically that's what you guys have done, allowed us to buy those things that we really didn't budget for, using the scrap steel. So I'm asking for that again. You want me to stop there, Mr. Chairman, or go by it?
Do you have any idea of the cost?
Last time we brought stuff down there, they told us if we left the
No,
bin,
I'm talking about the pressure.
Pressure washer. is what
Oh.
we're looking at.
yeah, less than $500.
Less than 500?
And the bins have been about, if we leave the bin when we haul their steel, they give us $500 for the bin.
Okay, based on that, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we take the bin down and whatever we get for it, buy a electric pressure washer.
I'll second it.
And a second, discussion.
Just a comment, if they don't get enough from the scrap steel, I'm sure you can come up with the other $50 you need.
We could, but we're hoping that we don't have
Should be
to.
authorized.
Yeah. Well, thank you, I thank you for doing that. I don't think we will need to, but,
Keep insurance.
yeah.
Okay,
Then the longest, most controversial thing in here is the truck replacement for the transfer station.
well, yeah, we gotta vote on the,
Oh, you didn't vote yet,
yeah,
sorry.
we gotta vote on
Sorry.
that. Is there, we have a motion, is it,
And I
all those in
second it.
favor of the motion,
Yeah.
as presented, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you, gentlemen.
okay, Mike?
Next thing is vehicles. So next October is when the inspection runs out on the Chevy that's up there now. So they've been looking for used vehicles, Bob and Joe, I asked them to do that research, and it's one of those, what's local versus having to travel to go look at something to see if it's worth it. So I did look into what the state bid price is for a brand-new truck, and we're talking $25,000 for a 2021 Chevy. Everything that's listed on state bid for Ford is 2020, and then Dodge was 2019 or vice versa, I can't remember exactly. But to replace it, we can go out there and try to find something and then have to deal with somebody else's problems, or over the course of, that truck would probably last us, I would say, at least 10 years if we do what's right. We're talking about $2,500 to $2,700 a year cost associated, probably including insurance. So I'm just looking for what the board would really, if I'm gonna go that route, like, I'll pursue it, but if you say no, then we gotta keep searching for something used, and something that we're not gonna, something that has some lifespan to it. Oh, and I did look them up, the MSRP on these trucks are $14,000 more than what the state bid is. So we're talking $40,000 truck for $25,000.
Mr. Chairman, can I voice my opinion?
Not yet. We'll let him finish,
Oh, I thought he was
Mike.
done with that part of it.
So, yeah, that's it, that's really, and so I did say that it's in here that there is money in the vehicle reserves, no matter which way we go with it, that, there's money in the reserve to purchase the vehicle.
So you get, I'll go.
Without
Sorry.
depleting, because the Freightliner, I did talk to Bob Ward, to make sure that there's nothing sneaking up on us with the Freightliner, that all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, this transmission's going in, that kind of thing. There was a speedometer cable problem that was fixed, and there was a heating air conditioning problem that was fixed. Besides the cover over the top of it, doesn't really need much, and the compactor bin is gonna need some TLC. Or it's been given a lot of TLC, but eventually that compactor's gonna have to get replaced as well. But I just looked at it saying, we could do this if you went this route. I'm not saying that's the route you're gonna go, but if you went that route, it's not gonna deplete the reserve or put us in a spot where if the compactor bin stopped working, or if the transmission crapped out on the Freightliner, that you wouldn't have money.
Okay.
So there, I'm done now.
Go first, Mike.
I feel that we should, with everything being said, I think we should buy a new one for around $25,000. That's absolutely nothing right now compared to what used ones are just ridiculous, and you're buying somebody else's problems. We're gonna get a warranty with a brand new one. The only thing I don't agree with, I don't think we need to buy a diesel. I don't think we need to spend the money on a diesel.
No.
So buy a gas engine, a single cab. We don't need a four-door cab, just a single plain Jane. I don't even care if it's got electric or hand crank windows, but.
Oh, they're
I think
hand crank windows.
I mean, you can get them, and they're a lot less with that, but so the state, a lot of them have that with a hand crank. I mean, I think we should go that route. It's just gonna be better money well spent, and like he said, we're not gonna deplete our thing. You buy a used vehicle, you're buying somebody else's problem. My truck, for example, I got a 15, and it's gone up over $8,000 just because of the stupid used vehicles. Right now, they're giving you 125%, so it's crazy.
Yeah, I just got an offer for mine for more than I paid for it.
Yeah,
That's what's happening, and the dealers know it.
Does that figure that you gave us include the snowplow package?
no,
No.
So how much more would that be?
8,000.
It's state bid, it's cheaper, I think it was like $4,000 or something like
Is
that.
it four?
Yeah,
You can get that for $4,000?
yeah.
The only thing is with that
State
plow-
bid, that's why.
I heard rumor they wanted a V-plow. We don't need to spend the money on a V-plow.
No, I didn't hear that one.
I did from a very good source, so, a straight blade,
Yeah,
I'm good with, we don't need to spend the money on a V-plow, it's just more moving parts and more shit to go wrong.
it's a plain Jane truck, guys. I mean, it
Yep.
really is. It's rolled down windows, we have him, but
I would say that you need to keep it plain Jane.
the only thing I would ask is the price difference between the extended, not the crew cab, the extended cab and the regular is like $2,000. So that way they can put stuff behind the seats, you know, equipment and stuff like that, and not have to have it bouncing around in the front seat.
Well, what do they need at the transfer station to carry around for?
But that $2,000 will pay for half the plow.
But whatever you guys want, that was my recommendation,
I'm
because,
asking a question because I would like an answer to it.
oh, they have tools, they have the first aid kits and eye wash, all the stuff I make and put in the vehicles, that if they have an accident, because Chris cuts trees, when they go out, he uses that truck to haul, chainsaws and all that kind of stuff, but they have first aid kits
So he
and
uses that as tree warden as well.
he does a lot of work when he works at the roustabout at the,
Oh, okay.
But there's still only one person to a truck, so he's got plenty of room.
Okay, other questions?
Well, just one more.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm not a big fan of the extended cab because you lose bed space.
Yeah.
In a case like that, it's a work truck.
so you want the 8-foot bed?
That's my opinion. It's a work truck, and if you put one guy in the truck, they got plenty of room for a first aid kit.
Yep. I don't think anybody's gonna bitch about I mean, it's better than what they have now, so a straight cab with an 8-foot bed on it, with a just straight blade plow, amen, brother.
If you want my support, keep it cheap.
Yes. Keep it simple, stupid.
Any
Or
other
keep it
questions?
utilitarian, I should say.
Other questions on the truck? I have one. You knew I was gonna ask
I
you.
knew it.
You know I didn't you? I didn't wanna let you
Ready
down.
to hit.
Going to, but I figured
Throw me the
you would.
softball, Jim, throw me the softball.
I was going to, but I figured you would.
Okay. We have 2 pickup trucks at the town garage. Why can't they use one of those?
The answer is they can, but the problem is the scheduling. And when you have an employee and they have to go running around trying to beg for a truck to go do something because someone else is using it, you asked me a long time ago, Jim, increase efficiency. Well, to me, not being able to do something because someone else has got it and using it, I'm trying to give them the tools to do the job we're asking them to do. They pick up garbage all over the place. They try to do it at their own schedule. They don't have to go down and beg to borrow it at 2 o'clock.
Why do they have to beg? It's part of town equipment.
Because someone's using it and they have to work it out. It's like,
Somebody's using it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, yeah. So the other 2 vehicles are being used and therefore are not available. Is that what you're saying?
Typically.
Typically.
If you go there on a day, those trucks aren't sitting in the garage waiting for someone to find something to do with them.
Okay. Now, it seems to, yeah, I told the story about the other one.
If you want to tell it again, I bet everyone
Not
want to
when
hear
you
it.
all know it. That's the one that wouldn't pass inspection either.
I was told that's not a true statement.
Pardon?
I was told that's not a true statement, but do you really want to get into that now?
No,
I'll beg to differ. It is a true statement. I don't know who told you it wasn't true, but we sat right here and were told that truck couldn't pass inspection. Next thing you know, we'll keep the truck, and it's been running for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, if it couldn't pass inspection, what is it doing running for 2 or 3 years? So I don't want to hear that, Mike.
Well, you say you don't want to hear it, but I'm just telling, I heard it. I didn't make
I
it
didn't
up.
have to, I
Well,
didn't have
it's
to
not
say that.
factual, is what I'm telling you. They continue to run that truck, and I don't know if they're still continuing to run the truck, or if that's the truck we're talking about.
No, I said one.
Bob,
That's-
that is the truck we're talking about, and you are saying what is a true statement.
Thank you.
We might as well continue on with this. Why isn't the highway department plowing the transfer station?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes,
That's all
well,
my answer.
I could shed light on that one, but I'm not going to.
I'm in favor of getting this truck for them.
yeah, but we have to ask the questions.
Well, I know.
We
I
gotta
know,
ask
Jim.
the questions.
I know.
I got it. Just waiting for you to go down that
Any
road.
I'm done, Jim.
Any other shots?
Get them now.
I think we beat this horse to death.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion. All those in favor?
We don't have.
We didn't have
Oh,
no.
we don't have a motion.
Make the motion,
Well,
Mike.
you want, don't
make
you-
'em all-
Wait a minute. Don't you want your motion to include also the cost of the snowplow?
Yes, that's what I was gonna do.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna make a motion that we, allow the town manager to look into purchasing a plain Jane Chevy gas-powered pickup for the transfer station through the state bid and with a straight blade Fisher plow on the back of it, a regular cab with an 8-foot box.
I'll second that.
In an amount not to exceed?
And with an amount not to exceed
29?
I'll say, yeah, I'm gonna go 30, but I'll go 29,000.
Okay.
Beat you up enough?
Listen, if I can't do it for that, I'll come back and tell you.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
He didn't authorize him to buy them, he's just authorizing him
Yeah.
to
Find it.
research it.
Yeah.
right. Okay, everybody, is there a second to the motion?
I did second.
He did.
You did,
Dick
Dick?
did.
Okay, all right. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
We voted unanimously, Mike. I want you to make sure you get that.
You know what?
note.
That's
Yeah, even
because the
this
Red
one-
Sox are, it's just trying to get the Red Sox. to come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
On the sidewalk project, it's page 3, number 4. I did receive a call from a concerned citizen resident on Drake Road of why they weren't putting the brand-new curbs on the east side of Drake Road where they did on the west side during the last project. So I looked into it, and it was just an oversight by the engineer. If you notice, if you've been by there, we got that fixed, and they're actually putting the curb so they match. It didn't look like we just spent all this money and forgot about the end of Drake, the east side of Drake Road. So that's been addressed. I'm not sure if you, Mike, if you're gonna wanna talk about what's going on at the corners, but, while we're on sidewalks, but I visited the corners after Mike Holden came in and, talked to me about the opening on Route 30, the size of it, and the concern that, semi-trailers delivering fuel would have a rough time getting in there without driving over everything, including the curb. So I went down there, I've talked to V-Trans, the municipal project manager from Fuss and O'Neill, and it got kicked around in an email chain. They're looking into it, see if they can expand the opening, take some of that curb out so that trucks can get in there. There is some resistance on the state side saying that, if you do this, you're gonna have to get it approved. It can't be just done on our own because permitting is done through V-Trans. So we'll be changing that. So working on it to address the concern. I think after I went down there and took pictures of it, it certainly is a valid concern.
Just so you want to shed a little light on it, I did go look at it because the owner came to me. They've got the one cutout coming south from here. There's no way in God's green earth you're gonna get a tractor trailer in there. First of all, to unload his fuel, but this man makes his living. And second of all, he'll never get any fuel customers with trucks because they cannot get in there. So you might get a dump truck in there, but that's all you're gonna get in. And that's really narrow. You can get a dump truck if you're coming south. You're still gonna take both lanes. So I don't feel that with what they're doing, that we're gonna, I don't know how to say it politely. You're gonna make this man lose so much money because he's not gonna be able to sell the fuel that he was selling, and it's gonna be next to impossible without running over the curb and busting tires and busting a curb just to get fuel to this guy that is making a living doing this, so.
So we're addressing the issue, I
You gotta
guess.
make, you gotta make it bigger. You're gonna have to make that a lot bigger so that the trucks he can even at least swing in there to get to his tanks to be able to unload the fuel to his thing, because right now he can't even get to them.
Are you going to address that, Mike?
Yeah, I did. So I talked to Dan Manette,
Okay.
our MPM for that, and so he's working on it. There was a whole email chain with all the players involved to take a look at that, to include Teresa Gilman, who does the permitting. So Mike brought it up. I was able to get a conversation going about it to address the issue. So,
Thanks, Mike.
yep. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Move on, Mike.
Oh, I just got a question on that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob.
What's the holdup with out front here at the fire station? They dug that up like months ago, and it's like abandoned. Are they waiting to put those curbs all the way through?
Curbs, yeah,
So they're just doing the curbs all the way
Yeah.
through? Okay, that's all.
yeah.
Okay.
The only thing that's gonna bleed over is right at the apex of the corners. You're turning off from Route 30, turning west onto Route 4A. There's those junction boxes, those utility panels. They're not gonna be here till the 13th of October. So they're just gonna hold off on that area until it's all done, because they're gonna have to put the same amount of cones and everything else up to do it. So they're just gonna wait and do it all at once. But everything else, they're gonna continue to move on. I'm still on page 5, Little Rutland Road. There's some letters in your packets that would be for executive session. South Street Trestle, I got a drawing yesterday. I think I sent it out to everyone by email, except for you, Jim, because you don't have email. I sent it to you. Just check your email. It was a drawing from Josh Cavahall on what that culvert's got to look like, and the project just keeps getting more and more complex. But it's a concrete box culvert with the aquatic passages and baffles and all this stuff. So it'll go into the bid packet, which will go out probably in January to try to get on a contractor's radar early. But the cost of this thing may be where I have to apply for a structures grant to have enough money to pay for it. The $39,000 that FEMA gave us won't touch it. So it'll be a structures grant that in the fall here, that when they start coming out in October. Crack sealing, they start with the rain. They may not start right now, but they're scheduled to start the 28th and 29th, go for 5 days. So it might bleed into the following week with crack sealing. But they're not going to do it if it's raining and if there's lots of water still in the road. That's it for 5, page 6. Town office and buildings, fire station. The vent pipe at the fire station came apart. Don't know how it came apart, but it came apart. We had to have a roofer come in and take a look at it, and that's when they found it. Since then, I've spoken with Paul McClure, and he and Mickey, they're gonna stop by. Those are gasketed pipes, they shouldn't have come apart. But it did some water damage in the tile ceiling, drop ceiling. So, right now, it's put back together, so it shouldn't be leaking, or has it leaked? Then the other thing at the fire station was, when they built it, I know it was on the cheap, to get it done, but the eaves are not insulated. And Mickey talked to me and said, yep, that was on the plans, I brought it up, but it was more cost, and so that's why we had that water ice backup up there, is that's what they believe is causing it, because there's nothing insulating the eaves right now. So I asked Mickey to give me a quote on what it would cost to insulate the eaves properly. That was brought up to me last year. Highway garage, overhead door, just getting the door service at the fire station and at the west side at the fire station, and then at the town garage, waiting for quotes back from overhead door and ski door. We're all back 100% at the public works, people working. Fire department held their coin drop, and you have one in your packet you already approved, right? Did you approve that?
Not yet.
Yeah, we got it. We'll do it, yeah.
Trees came in, they took down the trees, that problem tree that was in the common area that we're getting complaints about. So that's on the ground, and today the crew started going around picking up the trees that they cut down. Park and ride, if you're getting complaints about the park and ride not having solar lights, that's still a problem. I've spoken to Paul a couple different times, Paul McClure, and I told him, just let me know when you're ready to go down if you need someone to hold a ladder. Because he needs to climb up the ladder and test the controllers. I didn't highlight it, but on page 7, 11D, historic cemetery, if you get social media or if you've heard around town, Joey Kinney, a student at Castleton University, spearheaded an effort to clean the stones, and it's all over social media, photos of the people that helped. And so I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that, and we can recognize Joey for his efforts and those other volunteers that helped out.
Would
On
you
the
like a-
social
would you
media,
like-
they did
would you like
50.
a letter on that?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we send a letter to Joey Kenny and everybody who participated in the select board.
A second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
They did 50 headstones.
Yeah. I did talk to
Make
the,
sure the letter clear up some way to be an elected thank you to everyone, not just Joey.
yeah, I will make sure.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
You know, he gives a particularly good attaboy for
Yep.
his efforts.
Will do. I haven't heard from the Recreation Commission. I'm on basically page 8 at the top. They still want to meet with the board to talk about the future of rec, but they haven't reached out to me with materials and talking points that they wanted to bring up. That's it. I guess that's it. pending your questions. And, and the coin drop for,
You want us to do the coin drop now?
wherever you were gonna add it, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we might as well do it now. Any other questions for Mike? If not, is there a motion regarding the 8th grade's request for a coin drop?
I'll make a motion that we allow the 8th grade to do their coin drop on, somebody got a date for me,
23rd,
I had that piece of paper
on
down
the
on the
23rd in
Yeah.
the town of Castleton.
right.
I'll second it.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
Just they're aware of all the safety requirements we have in place, right?
Yeah, I sent, the coin drop policy to them. To
Well, they-
Tim Smith.
They've already done one.
I was told they didn't do it.
They didn't do it?
No, they didn't do it,
So
so,
this isn't the second.
no, it's not their second,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But they thought they wanted to do it the weekend the fire department had theirs, and I said, no, that's not the right one.
Okay,
They
okay.
But-
did authorize them one, but they didn't do that.
They didn't do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, and their second date was that date. that
Yeah.
we-
Okay.
Yeah,
Saturday, October
so
23rd.
this is truly their
Okay,
first
we
one.
still have to vote on that motion?
Yep.
We do.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Oh, okay. Motion approved. We have any warrants? Mike,
In the packet there.
you got a couple?
Warrants?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
And purchase orders, I'm sorry.
Dick's turn.
Purchase orders?
I think you took care of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we did, yeah, okay. All right, warrants. Dick,
Make a motion, we approve warrant number 0927W for $20,159. Warrant 0927R for $180,776. Warrant 0927 for $134,956.76. Warrant 0924 for $9,970. Warrant 0923 for $6,108.14. Warrant 0922 for $24,777.62. Warrant 0921 for $1,695,380.11. Warrant 0917 for $55. Warrant 0916 for $5,972.18. Warrant 0923P for $16,663.72. And warrant number 0916P for $16,073.38.
I'll second it.
the second. Discussion.
Why is there so many? That's all, just a question.
Sometimes it's the fall.
Is that what causes
I
it?
don't know, sometimes it's, I have no rhyme or reason.
Okay.
Well, one of them was for
One's
the
a school.
money transfer, and one of them
Yeah.
was for some, if I read it right, it's for transfer of funds
Yep,
for the
When-
truck payments.
yep, there was one of
There's
them,
at least two extra from those reasons.
Oh, okay.
1.7 million was the school.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
While you guys are signing that, Mr. Chairman, there's a gentleman that's been patiently sitting on the phone under his iPad. His name is Chris Foraker. He's the Public Works Director, and I wanted to introduce him to you guys tonight
Okay,
while you're signing. But Chris,
Go ahead.
can you, your camera on, Chris, so we can see your puss?
want to wait till we're through, or?
Does that work?
Chris?
We
Okay.
see you. I saw you
Barely.
earlier.
So it is human, okay.
They're signing warrants right now, Chris.
I see that.
They got two more to authorize, but.
Oh, yeah, that one,
Did you hear about the truck?
haven't voted on that one yet.
I did. I
Oh.
took a note on that.
All right.
We just rescinded it, Chris.
I did.
And
How's
then-
it going so far, Chris? You like it?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm having a good time. And you know, it's keeping me going. I'm learning something new every day. And actually enjoying it. It's a lot different than what I did before, and it's welcomed.
He's made several young ladies in town, I say young, like young at heart, very happy about fixing their end of their driveways for them and stuff like that, and customer service, so that's a positive step to start off. And I actually got a message today, a positive one from somebody on East Hubbardton Road, right? Thanking them for filling in.
Oh, yeah, yep, yep.
So, customer service is, when you see what happens when you actually react to things and follow through.
The two we haven't voted on yet.
Okay.
Or you haven't voted on yet.
Yep.
All right.
Go ahead, miss.
Go to him, or you want me to do these last two?
Yeah, you might as well do the last two.
What's that?
Make a motion, we approve warrant 0924P for $628.33, and warrant number 0917P for $628.33.
Second.
A second, discussion.
I'll recuse myself.
Recuse yourself. Now, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Well, welcome, Chris. Good luck.
Yep.
Let us know what we can do to help.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure, gentlemen.
And I think, Jim, your float bridge was completed today, if I was told correctly. I haven't checked on it, but I assume Chris has or heard about it. Did she finish weed whack and float bridge?
I believe she did.
Yeah.
We were, I had brought her up to North Road by Stables Loop, if I have that correctly, this today, and she started on that as well.
Chris, are you comfortable telling us who you are and where you come from and all that, or?
Absolutely. I'll just give you the quick rundown. So I've spent the last 26 years in the Army, between the Army itself and the Vermont National Guard. I was full-time up there. I just retired in June. Actually still in until the 30th of this month. I am an alum of your prestigious institution down the road, Castleton University. So I did there for 4 years, went there for 4 years, did some ROTC up at the University of Vermont. And generally, in a nutshell, I live in Rutland. I'm married, I have a stepson, and you know, my specialty, I was an officer. I retired as a lieutenant colonel in the Vermont Army National Guard. My career is pretty much focused around operations as an officer. And really what that means in the civilian terminology is planning, strategic planning, training management, logistics, things of that nature.
Okay.
And you did budgeting, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, so yeah, I did. I managed the operations and training budget for the state, which was about $30 million.
Thank you.
Yep.
You get that under there, that rubber band?
Can you get it, Nick?
Are you guys good with Chris?
Somebody's gonna fall down there.
I'll get it.
No, we get it. It'll come to me.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, are you through with Chris?
Pardon?
Are you guys done with Chris?
Yeah, yep.
I'm good.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, gentlemen.
There you go.
Moving on to select board comments and concerns. Mike?
Good.
Good. Bob?
Are we still missing minutes from certain meetings?
We are.
Okay.
Just so you're aware of that, Liza did quit. And
I am aware of that.
but our assessor, or I mean, our accountant clerk, she is working on the minutes right now, so she sent me another set tonight. So by next meeting, we should be caught up on select board minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Bob? No, go ahead.
I just need a little information. When, and this may have been, when did the Slate Valley Union Unified School District own our schools? I thought the taxpayers owned the schools. Can somebody enlighten me as to why they think they own the schools? Did the town relay them the schools somewhere along the line? Maybe you could enlighten me, Mr. Levy. You've been around this town office more than I have been. I'm having a little problem with that, that's
Yeah,
all.
it's very complicated. Joe, Mark have been working on this. We have stuff in our packets and
We
in
do.
our mailbox. I don't wanna, don't hold me to it, but it's my understanding that the town and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I may very well be, when the Slate Valley Union District was formed, that the ownership went to the district, but it's just a guess, that's all it is, Bob.
Okay. Well, that's better than no answer at all, so.
That's what I believe is.
Sure, go
Is
ahead.
that when it happened?
Once again, I'm like 90% sure that this is what I'm saying is a true statement, but it could be, is that the town entity, the town government of Castleton never owned the elementary school and the village school. They were owned by the Castleton Hubbard and Union School
Correct,
District,
yep, yep.
okay? Which is theoretically owned by the taxpayers.
Okay.
And then when Slate Valley District was formed, ownership transferred to them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's kind of one of those weird,
Okay.
terminology things.
Right. Anything else, Tom?
No, we covered the sidewalks in front of the fire station in the minutes. That's basically all I had.
Dick? Dick,
No, it's all,
you're all set, Mike?
well, I do have a follow-up to one of Bob's concerns.
Yep.
Where do we stand on getting a new recording secretary? Do we have any candidates?
We had a candidate, and when Karen left, she left it up to her to give us a call if she was interested, and she's neither called, emailed, or stopped by here on my phone or Karen's phone. No messages there, no emails, and has not stopped by. So it was kind of iffy in the beginning, so I'm assuming that it was not what she wanted to do.
I have one more thing.
Sure.
Normally, the sidewalks and the stop lines get painted before the kids start school, and I see they're not done.
There.
Is that coming?
It was brought up last meeting.
Oh, it was?
It was an oversight on my part. I missed the crack sealing, or the line painting one. We got the crack sealing done, so I bought paint to do it by myself, but the machine that we have upstairs at the garage, the paint cans and that don't match up. So
You're gonna do it yourself?
I was
Is that
gonna
what you
go
just
out, I was
said?
gonna say, I'm gonna go out at nighttime and paint them, when there's no traffic.
Ugh.
But I gotta go to Fastenal or someplace like that to get the right, we got an old fashioned walk behind thing.
So it's in the works.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go out at night and do it myself. But I did try it. But short of bending over, squatting down in the road and painting it with my hand, which I didn't think would be a good end product, I didn't do it.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Mike, you all
I
set?
have to paint.
You set? Okay. Just one announcement. We've been advised that the DRB will be holding a second hearing on the proposed senior citizen center for Sand Hill Road. The information we have so far was that it will be on October 5th, I believe it's 7 p.m. at the fire station. If you would like to attend, we should know so that if there are three of us, that we warn it as a meeting. Do any of you plan to attend? You do, Mike?
I think I will.
Okay, and I will.
I'd like to attend by Zoom or whatever,
That's okay, that's okay.
so that's gonna make a quorum, right? That
Okay.
qualifies as a
Well,
quorum.
no, we've got three, so we'll have to warn it anyway.
Oh, okay.
Mike?
I'm gone, Jim, during that time frame, so warning it, Jonas is gonna have to be on his A game because nobody's gonna be, Karen's out and I'm out to get this stuff posted around town. So I will talk to him when I see him and just make sure he's aware of that because I leave on the 1st and I don't get back to the 11th.
Nick, who are you going to contact?
Jonas. Because
Jonas,
if he's gonna set up, somebody's gotta set up a Zoom meeting, somebody's gotta warn the meeting, if you all three are gonna go there. So somebody's gotta do that here, and Margaret doesn't know how to do it.
The DRB is gonna have to set up the Zoom, that's
Yeah.
not our responsibility.
Yeah, that's their meeting.
But we gotta warn it.
Well, why can't we warn it right now? If there are going to be three of us there,
I just, we gotta post it out on the, I gotta get it posted out on the, if you're saying you're all gonna be there, then I can get it done this week then.
that's what I meant.
All
We're all gonna be there.
That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
you can warn it as a
Right.
select board meeting with no agenda or whatever the.
Yeah.
Joe Mark had it figured out.
Sure.
Okay.
Is there meetings on, you said this is gonna be the second meeting? Is there
The
minutes?
developers have requested a second hearing.
Is there minutes someplace I can look at the first meeting?
Jonas, I sent Jonas the link to the Zoom meeting today so he can make the minutes, but I can send you the, if you wanna
If you can.
watch the Zoom meeting, I can send you the link to it.
Well, you can try that too.
Because, I mean, you see everybody talking and what people said.
Okay, yeah, I just wanna see how it shook out.
Because I sent it today so he could do the minutes. Because he called Eliza and Eliza didn't do the minutes.
For what it's worth, one of the attendees via Zoom said it was extremely hard to hear anyone in the audience.
I heard it fine and crystal clear today.
Okay. Maybe that
Okay.
was during the meeting.
Yeah.
So we will warn it for October 5th, or whenever that meeting is held, if it has to be on a different date. We could check with Jonas tomorrow to be sure it's October 5th at 7 PM at the fire station.
Yeah, he's just needing some help from somebody he doesn't know how to set up Zoom.
Sure. And all of you received copies of our letter to the DRB.
Mhm.
Okay, good enough. Okay, set future public meeting about the Castleton Village School, and also the ARCO funds. I believe we set a date of November 1 for the ARCO to receive public input, but Joe now feels that the village school is more pressing. And how do we want to handle that?
The-
Yes, Mike?
What I'm recommending is the 27th of October, the second meeting in October,
Okay.
is to have your public meeting on regarding CVS vote, and then stick with 1 November for the ARPA funds.
Okay.
And it gives us time to prepare and warn it and everything else, but it sets it, instead of doing the 11th, do the 27th.
Do we want to start that meeting early?
I would say you're gonna get some people showing up, so
Well, how about 6 o'clock?
it's up to you guys. I'll do whatever you need to do.
You okay, you okay? You're gonna be away, Bob? You
No,
over here?
no, the
You be
27th I
here?
should be here. I should, yeah,
6 o'clock, okay?
yeah.
That should work.
That should work for everyone, okay?
And that's the school meeting. That's on the school.
That's on the school.
Okay.
And I would suggest that we plan on having more than one, another one sometime, before town meeting day when the vote occurs.
Did you see that? It's executive session to talk about it, but there's some correspondence going back and forth with the school board about that.
Yeah,
I think you guys have seen it, but if you haven't, I'll share it with you.
okay. Anything else
Yes,
on
sure.
select board? Have we covered everything there?
Yep.
Any recap, follow-up? If not, you need an executive session, Mike, I saw.
I apologize, guys, but we're gonna need to do 3: personnel, labor relations, and litigation.
Okay, which one you want to do first?
Yeah, exactly.
Personnel.
Personnel?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we enter executive session at
8:37.
8:37 for personnel with the town manager and the board.
I'll second it.
And a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 We're in executive session, personnel.